Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Firda Sabrihana. I'm from Banjarnegara, Central Java, Indonesia. I'm a student of 11 Smart University, majoring in Biology Education 2021. In this video, I would like to discuss about two topics. There are the identity of Indonesia and then about law enforcement and human rights in Indonesia. Identity of Indonesia. First, let's talk about identity. Identity is the state, nature, or special characteristic of a person or an object, while the nation is a group of people who share their origins, customs, language, history, and self-governing. So, the national identity is the special feature of a nation as a symbol to recognize by other nations. The process of forming the identity of a nation is not formed suddenly and will definitely require a fairly long process through various historical phases to date. One of the well-known as iconic identities of Indonesian culture is batik. As Indonesian citizens, of course, we already know about batik itself, right? Batik is generally a form of traditional Indonesian decorative cloth made using wax and canting as the tools and materials for making it. And some types of batik that we need to know include: first, hand batik or batik tulis. Batik is made manually using hands and the help of canting tools. Because it is made manually, it's not surprising that the price of this written batik is quite expensive. The second is stamped batik or batik cap, usually made using a stamp instead of canting to make batik motifs. And then printed batik. This batik is usually made with a manufacturing process using a screen printing tool or known as offset. So, as Indonesian people, we must proud that batik has been designed by UNESCO as an Indonesian cultural heritage and has been included in the masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Then, I would like to tell you about law enforcement and human rights in Indonesia. The definition of law is a written or unwritten regulation which is crystallization of values agreed upon by the community or those who represent it and is regulated in a law and enforced by the authorities institution to be used as guideline in carrying out obligations and to realize goals. Meanwhile, human rights states that humans have inherent rights because they are human. Human rights are universal, apply anytime, anywhere, and to anyone. A relationship between law and human rights. Law as limits and realization of justice embodiment of human rights. Law as a tool that regulates so that everyone gets the same rights that must be maintained. The relationship between law and human rights is closely related because all human behavior in a country always based on law. It can be said that the law protects human rights. One of law enforcement and human rights is about freedom of expression. In Indonesia, freedom of expression can be said to be one of the most frequently violated human rights. Surely, everyone has violated it. A small example is when we are talking with friends. There must be times when we interrupt his words. Now, that is a form of violation of freedom of expression. In addition, an interesting case is where educational institutions are also actors of violate the right of express opinions in public. This violation is committed by educational institutions such as universities, starting from the issues of circulars in the form of not participating in the action, giving threats of punishment, and even imposing a dropout sanction. Therefore, in order to minimize the violations of human rights, especially in the freedom of expression, efforts can be implemented to enforce the state's constitution on freedom of opinion. Everyone must have an awareness of the strengths and weaknesses of each individual so that they can accept criticism or opinions from others. There is transparency of government with their people. In addition, the attitude of maturity in expressing opinion needs to be reflected. For example, when expressing opinions accompanied by reasonable, polite, and responsible reasons.